My posts now are much more mature than they were. I quickly figured out how fast people can latch on to negativity in social media. And so I've really transitioned to just trying to be very real, but very positive for the most part.
How's your first NTI going?
Awesome. Oh my gosh. I have been an ICU nurse for 7 years, and this is my first time here, and it's pretty much nurse heaven. Tons of educational, nerdy things to go to, and fun, and food, and tons of coffee on every single corner. It's been great.
You have a big social media following. How did that come about?
Well, after the stethoscope thing with Nurse Kelly and whatever, I got fired up, and I was like, I'm just gonna start my blog tonight. So I got like the free WordPress and just wrote my very first blog post then, and just kept writing from there.
So how has having such a big following and being so visible impacted your nurse journey?
So the connectivity of it all is incredible, and then also being able to see the similarities of nurses everywhere, despite whatever country you're in, whatever state you're in, is incredible to me. I've gotten to get perceptions of nursing from people all over the world, not just in the United States. However, it is really scary because you sometimes feel like your head is on a chopping block and maybe your employer will have a problem with it. You always have to be really careful with what you say on social media, and so it makes me nervous. It definitely makes me nervous. I've been very honest with my employers about my social media. I would encourage that if you want to keep it, just so we have an understanding and open communication.
There's new nurses coming out all the time. What advice would you give them if they're looking to follow in your path and have a social media presence?
So I would say keep your vibes positive as much as you can. Also, be real. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable and real. I think that's where I've gotten a lot of my following from, is my writing, and what you see is what you get. And I would hope that if my followers met me in person, they would be like, oh, she's exactly the same. The other thing is absolutely never post a picture of a patient. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if the patient's face isn't in it. I have so much respect for the people that I have taken care of that I would never do any of that with a violation of HIPAA, as well as be very careful about what you post even in the hospital. So I do have some pictures of myself inside a hospital. They were taken off the clock in an off setting. It was very open with my hospital about it. And in my new job, I won't have any pictures in the hospital. So I would basically, if I could do that all over again, I probably wouldn't have them at all. But they're up now, so.
What are the topics that are near and dear to your heart?
I'm very familiar with the research on nurse burnout. I also am familiar with my own experience trying to battle it and juggle my hospital units and just real life. I feel like I've learned a lot and I've evolved a lot and changed a lot. I'm also very passionate about palliative care and the integration of it into the ICU. I think palliative care starts with the nurse, and nurses can change anything. If they are passionate enough and they put their mind to it, I truly believe that they can make the change. So the overarching goal is to inspire and empower nurses to make these changes. If I can be, in the background pushing people along, and they can say, oh, I read her blog and this is how it all got started, that's better for me.
If our audience at allnurses.com wants to find you on social media or online, where would they go?
They can find me at Nurse Abnormalities on Instagram and at Nurse Abnormalities on Facebook. Oh, and my blog.
Yeah.
www.nurseabnormalities.com, of course. Can't forget where it all started, yeah.